RVEngineer here today, and today we're a little something different. We're going to be talking about the Ford puck system that I put on my F-250 and how it mates to the B and W companion fifth wheel hitch series. So when I bought this truck, it did not come with the factory pre-installed fifth wheel and gooseneck prep. So I bought the Reese system, the Reese Elite, that allows you to install a like factory setup. And I will say that this was probably the most difficult project that I've ever undertaken on this truck, mostly because of the bed bolts. So this was a 2013 F-250 long bed that we bought in 2018. It had been garaged, very well cared for, and yet I could not get these bed bolts out for the life of me. I snapped several different brands of tools, from the Harbor Freight to the Snap-on. Even had a friend try and use a 3/4 inch impact gun to take them out. And ultimately 4 out of the 8 had to be cut out to be able to install this package. You cannot install this without removing those bed bolts. And the reason why is that Ford doesn't actually thread the receiver nuts that these bolts go into. There are no threads in them. Essentially, when they install these bolts, they're cutting the threads. So basically it welds together, and it's nearly impossible to get out unless you're doing it the day after they build it. So, a little aside, if you're doing one of these projects, that's a whole different level, a whole different series of videos on how to get that. I did buy this undermount system first before I bought the hitch, and let me tell you, it's not worth installing this without installing the hitch, because no matter how good you think you've measured and lined these 4 holes up, it will not mate to the B and W. It does not have that good of a tolerance stack up between it. You need to be able to nest this hitch into these holes before you tighten everything down, because after I had this all put together, I had to climb back up underneath the truck and loosen it back up to be able to get it to mate properly to the B and W. So a little tip there. One of the reasons why I went through all this trouble though was so that I did not lose the usability of the bed of my truck. So a lot of the slider or rail systems that bolt down, you have these huge bars that go all the way across your truck, kind of cut the functionality of it down. Mine, all I've got are these little pucks right here, and there's little rubber covers that go over these, so if I want to take my hitch out, real easy to pop it out, pop it in. I'll demonstrate here in a minute. Another reason I decided you don't have to get the gooseneck adapter, but I decided to go ahead and do it since I was having it here and it really wasn't that big of a cost difference. And it comes with this really clever gooseneck ball design right here, where this just plops down in, and then this little thing plunges down, and that actually sets the ball right there. And then when you mate to this, obviously this piece could never come up with the load on top of it. So really clever design. And then you might say to yourself, well, what about my safety chains? Well, they actually got these guys here too. These fit right into the same adapters right here, drop down, and then you can attach your safety chains as well. So they've really done a good job of thinking about how to make this usable if you want to have the functionality of a fifth wheel hitch or a gooseneck system. So now I'll show you how I do the B and W. So again, we have the long bed F-250, so I'm not worrying about sliders. So I know sometimes this type of setup is not an option for you if you have to have a slider hitch, but we do not. So really it's a 2-step process. Step 1 is pick up the hitch base right here, and then it pretty much sets down in fairly easy as long as you keep your locks turned outboard. And it pretty much likes to nest right down there. And then all you gotta do is turn them in. And sometimes it might get a little stubborn, you gotta kind of work with them just a little bit, turn them in. There we go. And now I have set most of my fifth wheel hitch. Got these little pins, slide right through, keep these arms from moving away on you. Now, if I was going on a trip, I would definitely apply lithium grease to here. You don't want to dry run this rubber right here. B and W is very clear in their manual about it too, that you want to apply like a good lithium grease to these, but I'm not going on a trip today, just showing you all how. So again, I drop that part in, and then I pick this up. It sets right on top. Drop these pins through. Set my cotter pins. Find where the other one wandered off to, but it's around here somewhere. And then I'm ready to start on my journey for the day. So you can see it was really quick to put it in. I did look at the Reese system also, but comparing them, it just seemed like the B and W for the Ford OEM setup was a lot beefier hitch. And honestly, where this is the main attachment point to my vehicle, I kind of wanted the higher quality. B and W really seems to stand behind their products. They're not paying me in any way. I'm not getting any money from them. I just believe that they make a really good product. For the undermount system, Reese seemed to really be the only option. And again, I think it's a very clever setup. There's my other pin over here. That's really it on this hitch. In terms of maintenance, there's not a whole lot to it. There is one Zerk on here to grease. You know, you can occasionally grease, push a little bit through. And of course, I always apply a lithium grease to my kingpin as I'm sliding up. You can see I don't have a whole lot of grease on here because, again, I'm using one of those plastic slide plates to keep it easy. So that's it for today. Just wanted to show you a real quick setup here on the F250 using the Reese undermount system, RVEngineer. Any questions? Give me a hit. Thanks.